Tower of Babel. In Genesis chapter 11 of the King James Version, the inherited belief about the Tower of Babel was that God divided the people through confusing the languages due to the people's arrogant ego of greatness. Let's evaluate. The first thing is to note what era the world was in at that time. The event was after Noah's Ark and all the breeding with fallen angels. Once the population was rebuilt to a certain degree, there was too much talk of how things were before the flood, and that influence could have had history repeat itself. But was that the real threat or a reason why things changed? Let's go back. Living too stable in one environment meant the people had to go further and further out for food each year. That was one problem, but the real concept to consider was the growing differences in desired motives throughout the people. Now, God gave free will. God would not personally jeopardize that. Keep in mind, though, what happened to the Egyptian army. It was not God's fault for opening the waters for the slaves to pass through and the armies ignoring the fact that it was not open for them. In the course of action-reaction to each individual's goal, some are too stubborn for their own good. They should have had mutual respect for everyone. Live and let live, you know? Differences are why people desire separation. Back then, at the time of the tower, there were secrets among the people. Peer pressure made it hard to be oneself if it were not deemed acceptable to those individuals that were looked up to. Here is where the magic happens. People prayed to God to help them out of the situation they found themselves in. They desired to be only around people like oneself. Others did not pray as they were happy with their status quo. God intervened upon those requesting and changed their languages in accordance to shared desired motives. Those that did not pray kept their original language. Since all were like family at that moment in time, there were no real differences to create a war, and everyone just allowed each to go their own way as none could explain anything to one another.